All right, hey folks. Give me a second here. I'm checking on my signal, make sure everything's coming through okay. We're gonna do some artwork this morning for Eberron Adventure. So, going through that process here. Going to check my signal. I'll be loud. check. Going through that process here. Going to check my signal. I am loud. I'm gonna drop that volume down so that I am no longer loud. Eep, like that. Let's grab our link here so I can do some social media posting here real fast. But to keep you guys distracted, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish online, and I am creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. I'm a huge Eberron enthusiast. I started D&D back, running D&D back like in back in '87. I started freelance illustrating in 1999. I became an Eberron enthusiast in 2004 and started creating content on DMsGuild for Dungeons & Dragons 5e in 2018. But I've yet to publish my own adventure. I've worked on many. Did a style guide, for example, or a conversion guide for Spelljammer's Zaraxis, for example. But I've never actually created an adventure from scratch with the intent of being published, and that has been a wild experience. So if you think today and other stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we are live in the future. Chat display stuff here. Here's the full playlist of all 440 episodes. Discord community to sharpen your knives, and a bunch of books I've already created on DMsGuild. They're all free preview. If you want to support these shenanigans, consider picking up some of these books. Give them a read if you think they're cool. Purchase is appreciated. Yeah, there you go. So let's see. Where are we at right now? We just worked on the Seed of Lamania. This is not where I want it to be, but that's okay. We're going to get there. Let's see. Okay, cool. Cauldron. There we go. The Cauldron of Kithri. Kithri, the Churning Chaos. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Well, I'm officially affiliated now, or I'm a YouTube partner, so that came through and happened. Now I have to invest the time to figure out what the hell am I supposed to do with that. So, but yeah, everything turned out good. I'm very happy. So, vive la us. Let's grab some of the shadow here. I'm just going to start blocking in bits. Oh, that's good and dark. And at this stage, we're just doing basic form shadow, picking a direction of the light, and then using the laws of light accordingly to create cast shadows and highlights, etc. Hey, Fox. It's good to see you, my guy. So we're going to work on the Cauldron of Kithri, and then we'll probably be working on the Parasol of the Parasol of Irian. So I suspect these are going to be the two that we work on today, though if we have time, we'll certainly get to the Sextant and work on that. But I suspect this is going to be our workload for the day. I'm just gonna grab and pull for now. Just work the light up the work the shadow up the sides of the cauldron. I stream, for those that are new to the channel, they're just swinging through and checking this stuff out for the first time. I stream 9 times per week currently, Monday through Friday in the morning like this. We're doing artwork for this adventure. On Tuesdays and Fridays at lunchtime, we work on game design for either martial powers, or like right now we're working on spell point sorcerers for the color mana system. I suspect, boy, we're really close to being done with that. The Spelljammer Subclasses book is also very, I mean, the classes are pretty much good to go. There's a backlog of books that are waiting patiently for production time for us to move from ideation into publication by doing artwork. So this working on one book at a time, and then doing the artwork for that book in the morning and doing design work for other books in the evening. It's right now it's creating a little bit of a bottleneck, but only because this adventure is a very heavy lift. Once we get this published, we've got a slew of stuff that we can potentially start rolling out and having more publications pop off, as it were. So biding our time, running the process. If you check out the Spelljammer stream that I have here on my channel, you'll see like 200 some odd episodes of me making Spelljammer art and page layouts and design work, and these things are not light. They're heavy lifts, and I'm proud that I've been able to build the endurance and workflow and skill to be able to produce these types of books. It bodes well for my future, I believe. But so Monday, so we do the artwork for our next published book is artwork in the mornings, and then we do creation. Creating new books, like I said, Tuesdays and Fridays. Right now, we're working on Spell Point Sorcerers and the Martial Power System. And then on Mondays and Thursday nights, including tonight, work on Bashing Campaign System. I like this. This is looking good so far. Yeah, let's be like that. It's doing a lot of blending right now. Blend. So yeah, we'll be on tonight around it's 6:50 here in Seattle right now. So we'll be back on probably between 5:30 and 6 tonight. So like in 10.5 hours maybe we'll be back on. Play around for a few hours, make some progress. Now I'm going for the darker cast shadow bits where it makes sense to block in dark. I'll have to introduce since it's a cauldron, I'll have to figure out how to do the fire or the heat. But once we get the initial form shadows set up, I think we'll be able to find a way to. Because it's pretty monochrome right now, so we want to have a little bit more variety than that. I mean, granted, it is made out of only one material, but I think by having a flame or like some sort of heat source causing the cauldron the blurble should allow us to words, Kearney. Use words, you're speaking, dude. Allow us to find some variety. Some RGB variety. It's all a gray tone to me. I don't see color. So this is all for your benefit. That's not true. I gain immense pride and satisfaction in being able to create color and not see it and have it be accepted as, yeah, that's color art. Like when my decisions aren't questioned about the art that I make with color, I consider those really successful pieces. and I've got a great copability supply that, you know, since I don't see the color, if something goes wrong, I can't really take it too personally. All I can do is just, you know, fix it, or decide it's not worth fixing and just take the loss. But I'm gonna have a lot of ego attached to how good my color work turns out. This is a lot of fun. I like doing these organic melting pot, pardon the pun. The melting pot sort of look to these things. It's a lot of fun. I've done a few compositions like this in the past. I got hired a commission at some point in the past. A leather worker wanted to make a leather scabbard for a dagger or whatever, and they wanted a crow theme to it, and that the crows were all like mishmash and jumbled together like this, and so they wanted a stencil basically that they could overlay onto the leather and then cut through the lines to be able to duplicate the effects I was going with. And so that was a fun project. It was just a line art piece, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I think I've done some gibbering mouthers and what's the word I'm looking for? The Living Grave. That's one of the monsters in this book. Has a similar sort of like blended together. A bunch of undead blended together. You can check out the token production. That was probably back on episode 310. I was working on that. Keep working the problem. So once I'm content with this blend over, we should be able to put like a warm, like a reddish or an orangey sort of color here at the base and start heating it up in reverse, so that we have the highlights of the light coming down, and then we'll have a reverse of the fire, of the heat of the cauldron coming up. So it'll be bright. It'll be a bright color down here, a warm color here that'll cool eventually as it rises. I you know, we'll have to do something bubbly and cauldronish inside of here. No, I work with yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, hey, if people are going to hold you accountable for that sort of stuff, you may as well stream your work. It's just an easy win. I've talked about this a lot before. It's so fucking lonely doing artwork. It's the more art you do, the lonelier you get. It's a solo activity. This ability to stream and potentially connect with people in the world while I'm doing it is practically unheard. Like, in the history of humanity, this is new. Being an obsessed artist is a dysfunction or a disease, and typically like an abuse trauma response, I believe, and retreating into yourself and having limited capability of expressing yourself to the point where you find a whole new mode of communicating through artwork. That is the process of someone who is in deep suffering and harm. And to get good at your art, you begin building your personality around your dysfunction. And the art is copium to the things that you can't face in your life that led you to that lonely place. And the act of art itself is further isolating. So you isolate yourself in the first place because of some sort of horrible thing that happened to you that leads you to want to withdraw from being around other people. And you find solace in that solitude through the art that you can produce, which you then bind your identity to. I am an artist, which pretty much condemns you to staying in isolation. And in that isolated space, you don't have anything other than to trauma cycle through the things that got you to be in this lonely place in the beginning anyway, in the first place. So it traps and perpetuates the trauma that got you into painting or sculpture or whatever it is that you're doing. And there's no, the more art you do, the less you're capable of escaping that loneliness. And you either eventually break out of the loneliness and as a result don't do art, or you dive full long into madness and F yourself, or off yourself. And so social media really allows us, streaming specifically, allows us artists to escape that cycle of isolation, because I don't really feel as isolated right now as I have in the past years. Being able to be on YouTube like this, even if I don't make any money, this is, I mean, it's been 4 years, I've got 500 followers. It's like, my channel is not experiencing explosive growth. But this channel is not, like, the goal of this was never to monetize, never to become rich off of my YouTube channel. It was a place for me to go that would allow me to lift the amount of weight that these projects require to actually be able to get them done to completion without feeling isolated to the point that I wanted to kill myself. So social media in that sense streaming in that sense is a massive win for any creative type, any art type that can potentially do their art while they're talking to somebody. It's like, because I used to talk and shit all the time when I'd scratch in my sketchbook on campus and in high school and in study hall and class, stuff like that. I was constantly communicating with people while I'm doing artwork. And I used to participate in art jams when I lived in Seattle city proper. There was a collection of artists that would go to hit a bar and with sketch pads and just basically get hammered for a while. And so there was a social connection there as well. But pandemic, and then me moving out of Seattle into the northern sector kind of cut me off from a lot of that connection. Now it's a 2-hour commute to get back to the bars that I used to go to, and it's like, that's just, I don't have the bandwidth, the time for that. It's a self-destructive cycle. So being able to stream like this and just to be able to communicate with people is massive for the mental health that goes into artwork. So it allows me the emotional endurance now to be able to do these things over and over and over again. Hey, what's up? Art is about connecting with folks together. I like art streams. It's nice to connect with art at a higher level while still working on my tasks during my day job. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, the experience of art, the most often the end result of observing it and appreciating and admiring the art that's produced, that's far more social. But yeah, without having some sort of live environment where you can engage with people, just the art's tough, man. Art is tough. So yeah, I started streaming to disprove any potential of me being, well, I didn't start off this way, but I find one of the collateral benefits is like, yeah, no one would ever question that I do AI art. Like they would, like I'm so good they'd ask if I do AI. It's like, obviously my art is not AI, but if it ever came under question that people can produce art, yeah, I can do it. Here's some streams. I like how this looks. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's find art for, let's go with Red Hot Kettle. How about Red Hot Iron? Ooh, I bet that's gonna give me what I want. Ho, 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 ho. So what exactly does the cauldron do? Also, I can't wait for the parasol. I know you're excited about parasol because your family has stained glass in their history. Yeah, I don't know what any of these artifacts do. Honestly, the only one that we really detailed is the Eye of Mabar, and that's what this whole adventure is about. Is about the ritual being performed with the eye. But for all of these, their main function, their overarching purpose is to create and sustain a manifest zone that becomes so powerful that it eventually creates a portal directly to that plane that you can cross back and forth. So how that's achieved by each of these artifacts is outside the scope of the adventure. So I know I'm copying out in that sense. How's our color looking here? This, oof. This is a very mild. This like cream marble sort of look to it. There's a very faint. Is like you can see up here in the RGB. RGB is 215, 212, 203. That is incredibly thin towards yellow. Meanwhile, we have the end of this piece of iron. You can see the RG is off the roof at 255, and the B is at 133, 131. That's how you create yellow. So this is a super saturated, very bright, screaming yellow. While this worked marble is like nearly just gray, as rock would often be. So it's an interesting spectrum. God, that was cold, Ice Cube. But I think I think what's going to end up happening is, see, I can see here this shadow color for the cauldron. Look, it's also very mildly yellow. Maybe it reads as orange to you guys. I don't know personally, but I suspect that this has like maybe a vaguely very unsaturated orangeness to it. So I think if we add in these colors here, it's just going to punch up the saturation of what we already have in this color array here. I like that the orange of this being the dark and the yellow being the highlight is going to make it. Actually, it's the white should be at the bottom because the white is hotter than the orange. Interesting inversion. The iron has a ton of great colors, rich and very masculine. Great choice. Good, thank you. Yeah, the cauldron. It's the cauldron. It's the rolling chaos, is what Kithri is. Kithri, the churning chaos. Kithri is basically a combination of the 4th edition Elemental Storm, which replaced the inner planes, and Limbo, which I think has been the same since 1st edition, which is basically spontaneous creation of matter, of terrain, environment, objects, creatures that last for however long they last, and then they disappear. And so yeah, we're gonna take this. I'm going to do. We're gonna go with base here, and then we're gonna go with. We're gonna call this heat here. Now, keeping in mind that the yellow is brighter, is hotter. So at the bottom, I think is where we want to see hotter. So I'm going to try doing something like this. Experimental right now, which is why I'm putting it in a separate layer. Thank you. We may end up spending the rest of this session on this cauldron specifically. What time is it? No, it's only 7:10. We still have 40 minutes. We may very we'll start working on the parasol today. Now, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, it's going to be awesome. Let's grab that. Color stuff like this is so tricky for me because it's just grayscale to me, so I really have no idea. Seal the line art. Let's just merge those together. And keep the legs out of it. No, my brain just put its foot down. I'm only working on the cauldron today. I'll be working on the I'll work on the parasol tomorrow. Just something just popped in my brain, said you're going to want to spend more than a half hour on that parasol once you get started on it. And going through the stained glass process is probably going to require that. So Muse just told me you're going to hold off on that. Just focus on this for now. So that's what we're gonna do. And like I was saying earlier this week, I've finished the page layouts for the for the adventure. The only thing that has some page layouts to work on at this point is like monsters and some fiddly bits inside of the appendices. In the appendices, Appendix A is new monsters and NPC stat blocks. Appendix B is new magic items and oddities, and then Appendix C is alternate plot hooks. And so like the adventure portion is like of the 100 pages, like the adventure portion is like 65, 70 something, like close to 70 pages. And I'm just gonna stripe this in here like that. What's up? Well, hey, Domo. But, and so having finished that, I get to switch gears and do artwork in the evening. However, my brain has been insisting, is like, there's only like 3 pages, 4 pages, like there's only 2 pages left in this section. Just resolve it so you can be done with it. So I'm currently playing chicken with myself of like, I wanted to simplify, like there wasn't enough space on the page talking about the artifact and the ritual that creates the manifest zone in this adventure. So like I wanted to have I knew I was going to need to take a second pass and see if I could clean up the language on that. So last night I started doing some page art for the front end of the book, And I was looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? My brain's not going to let this go until I can resolve this. Like it's so much of it's so close to done that my brain's having a hard time just letting it, like the completionist in me is insisting. It's like, why don't you just cap off those last few pages? And it's like, I didn't do it initially for a reason, and now I've ran out of reasons. It's like, you got to get those done. The last thing you want to do is have all the artwork done for the book and then be hanging while you wait to figure out how to do the page layouts for this. Just like these one last things that you decided to procrastinate on, and now the whole thing is getting hung up because you didn't do it. And that energy sucks. I've had that energy before, and I do not like it. So I got a swift reminder in the heart. Like, you're not going to want to be in a place where there's just a couple pages of layouts not done while you're knocking down the rest of this. So just do the work and get them done. So I did artwork on Tuesday night. I did just a smidge last night. But now my brain's like, no, there's some stuff that you can get done. Let's go back and do it. So going back and doing it. Although I suspect I'm going to be spending most of my Saturday this weekend off screen painting, or probably what's actually going to happen is I'm going to break up the maps and start dropping every single room of the adventure onto the pages where they're talked about throughout the 70 some odd pages of adventure, where, you know, we're detailing adventure stuff like that. So with any luck, we're going to come back in Monday morning with a large block of stuff basically getting dropped into the PSDs for us to be able to work. I don't know if I necessarily like this or not. Oh, whoa. My brain just said something to me. It just said, hey, Phil, when was the last time you played with dodge tools? And I'm like, you know what? I've never in my life played with dodge tools. So let's see what happens. See, I literally have no idea what's happening here. I don't know if these are good ideas, if these are bad ideas. Whoa. Color burn and linear burn. Let's go in. Oops. Let's go in and take a look at how they look now. Oh, those aren't so bad, are they? You know what? I bet if I drop the opacity a little bit. Back off just a little bit. I don't know, does that work? I'm going to duplicate this layer. Go with a normal, just to have normal in there. Where'd I go? Here I am. Hi. I'm going to have a sip of coffee and contemplate my next move. Heat, and then okay, so let's overlay the heat. Let's see if this makes sense. Whoa. I can see now why the muse told me that I wasn't going to be working on the parasol today. This is probably one of the most color intensive projects that or pieces that I've worked on, honestly. Color so rarely matters. Only when I'm actually doing like lava, fire, and stuff like this do I ever really care about color at all, because I can't have a cold fire. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So occasionally I actually have to care about, like, actually pay attention to, like, which colors to go with, what to use. I like that though. I think this is working. I'm guessing that it works. No one's screaming at me right now saying that, Phil, this is so fucking wrong. So I imagine it's not wrong. So I think this is going to end up being okay. But you guys would be yelling at me if there was something obviously wrong. And most of the times you guys just let me work, and God bless you for that. It's just sometimes people attempt to micromanage, like they find out that I don't see color, so they try to fix me, or they try to fix my work without, you know, letting me do the process. But sometimes I'm obviously like making a mistake. Like I think I'm working in a color, and it's like, why are you using that color when it's not consistent with the rest of the piece? That's when I appreciate people questioning what the fuck am I doing. But like when I choose a palette color and I'm starting a brand new painting from scratch, it's like, yeah, this is the color I think I should be going with, and people start questioning that. It's like, you know, you gotta let me cook, man. I know what I'm doing. But occasionally, sometimes I don't. So, what a burden. Having said that, since no one is screaming at me, and Domo, thanks for the feedback about the burn. That's where my gut was telling me to go, and it's great to get that affirmation. Hey, Defecting. What's going on, my dude? Just this form shadow, like this form shadow and highlights. I love this part of the job, right? Like when I'm in this part of the process of doing any piece, it is so fun. It's figuring out the contours and the shapes and planes of the object that we're rendering. It's so much fun. It's if you fall in love. Okay, here's the trick I find of being able to get through huge projects. And that secret is find something to fall in love with every aspect of what you have to do. Like I'm doing form lighting right now, and I love that stuff. I also love the line art, and I love the texturing, and I love blending the layers together, and I love making the background fit the composition of the foreground and the main figures in the piece. I love bending the text around so that the artwork looks like it belongs to the narrative of the text that's going on the page. Like I love that all these processes. I love that, and I really need to, because all of these things are really important for making a composition, you know, look good. So me falling in love with these different portions of the process is really important for me to be able to actually endure the process of doing it. You had an uncensored version was coming, but it didn't post. Huh. Yeah, YouTube apparently is being weird about people's comments lately. I don't think it's me specifically. Like, I don't have any weird protective filters on my live stream chat comments and stuff. And then when we bond the line art to the color and we blend that together, that's going to be another level of fun. Because the lighting on here is so specific with the heat and all the blah-de-blah. I've got 20 minutes left. We'll be back for the Bastions campaign tonight at around 5:30 Seattle time. Hey, what's up? I don't know. It won't let me say the F word. Oh, jeez. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, man. It's obnoxious. I can say that. It's not like it's a friendly. It's not like I have this listed as like a kids show or something. Oh well. I probably shouldn't have to worry about it. So highlighting is smoothed out and a bunch of that. It'll all look really nice and rounded. Yeah. And yeah, once I get the line art bonded into it, I'll be able to mess around with curvature a lot more. The line art is artificial, right? It doesn't really complement the form of the object properly, but it's critical right now for me to make sure that I get the highlights that I'm working on correct. But once I get those all in, we'll be able to smooth that all together. But yeah, I think this is turning out pretty good. I want to grab that. Feels probably like the right place. I think I can do this. So let's grab this and try to see if I can use this as shadow down in here. It's a very sharp. It's even though it's dark, it's still a sharp red. So it's not as saturated as the high heat ones are, but I think that's appropriate for the underbelly, because I want to have shadow because there's no light getting to it, but it has its own. It still has, like, most of the heat would be at the bottom, so it makes sense that it would be sharp like that. So I think this red will probably be a good compromise between those two. Can you maybe go get you to do some top-down perspective on that bottom foot? I don't think I understand the question. Are you saying that the perspective is should be skewed so that... Oh, because we're seeing the top of the curve, you're thinking we should see more of the bottom of the foot? I think there might be some valid... I think you might be right that I need to tilt it like maybe 15 degrees. I can potentially do that. I will consider that. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna keep messing around inside of here for a little bit because this is where my energy's at, and I want luckily the feet aren't part of that same process. I've ignored them, so I can actually go. How fateful! Yeah, I think you're right. We probably need to do like a bit of a tilt, more like this probably, and then like have this curve down like this probably a little bit. I think you're right. We'll get there. Yeah, that was sticking in my craw a little bit already. It was starting to pop out at me. Good eye. Damn good eye. Our eyes be hearten. Well, I appreciate that you're pointing those eyes in this direction a little bit. It's very appreciated, legitimately. Almost there. Stay on target. So. I mean, that long. No comment. So then the question is this completely overwhelming the rest of the piece? I don't think so. It doesn't feel like it's. Yeah, I think everything else is gonna. Yeah, this is all gonna be good. This is all gonna be just fine. Let's drop the shadow in here. Neat little pocket. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've never used color dodge in a piece before. This is I am impressed, proud, and relieved that it functioned. Because I don't see the color, so much of this is just theoretical for me. It's just numbers. Like the only color I get is the RGB layout. Like that's all I have. So it's a fun trick for me. I recognize and accept that I'm never going to be like a grandmaster painter because of my own personal limitations, but I'm doing everything I can to try to edge my way up, you know? Which one did I use? Burn. Sorry, not dodge, burn. Am I right? Does dodge cool and burn heats? Is that how that works? Such a fucking weird challenge I have in my life. I am convinced that I am an old soul that has spent many lives painting and is bored and is just bored. Like, I can only do so many 16 chapels, you know, like the sense of accomplishment isn't there anymore. What am I supposed to do? What can I possibly do in this life and come back and make painting interesting again? And I think heaven said, why don't you try being colorblind? I'm like, oh, fuck yes, chill a beer, I will be back. And then I dropped into this body and became obsessed with painting. I suspect that's what happened. We'll know when I'm dead. At least I will anyway. Maybe you'll know too. The thing is you probably won't care. When you die and you're downloading and going through your life review and learning your lessons, I seriously doubt, hey, was Phil right about that thing? Is probably not going to be part of the conversation. However, if we're all lucky, we'll have a six-pack waiting for each other at the bar. And then you can be like, yeah, how'd that turn out? I'm like, oh man. And then you can grab the download and be like, oh, neat. I think at some point in heaven, our lives are just trading cards. Yeah, I gotta fix those feet. That's the next time around. I like working in layers like this. It's just something that I kind of just evolved into. It's honestly what it is it's a paranoia about getting something wrong and not being able to backtrack because I can't because I can't see the color. I can't just pick out where something goes wrong. So I have to work in these layers so I can start seeing like how do these things, you know, pull together. This one is left off. There. When you die, you're gonna go back in time. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And be your own dog. Oh my god, that's fucking awesome. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure dogs are just psychotherapists that want to take a vacation from reality. Because dogs are built for hugs. And hugs resolve trauma. So, trauma dog. I've got a dog. I've got some trauma. Trauma dog. We'll get to what's actually in the cauldron eventually, I'm sure. I don't need to know what's in the cauldron yet. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we gotta fix those feet. Let's go with lighting. All right, let's fix those feet. Yeah, I mean they already were. I just didn't know what to do with them yet. But yeah, you definitely help spur that. So it is appreciated. I don't want to discount your observation. You get full credit. So it. That's awesome. That is awesome. The fact that, dude, your work is good, man. Your work is real good. Pixel art is it's like tiling a mosaic, you know? It's a limited resolution, but God, it's like 64-bit stuff almost, you know. I'm struggling with the language on this, but it reminds me of older computer, like the 164. That's not the right word. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say something complimentary, and I'm flailing, so don't mind me. I admire the difference in the work. There we go. You know what? Honestly, this might be better just to have the feet like this. Ooh, we could do that. Hold on. If I tripod it, then you wouldn't. The other foot would be like back here somewhere. Before the idea was 4 feet here, 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 and here. But when we're looking on straight on, you only see 3 of them. If we put a tilt into it, or more like this. These feet are too, like, if I wanted to do that, I'd have to have these feet like further back here like that. And even then, I think the angle would be wrong. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the angle like this. I think that's good. Oh, shit. Yeah, I hear you. What time is it? It's only 49. I've got 10 minutes. Yeah, man. Yeah, let's leave that like that. And let's update our colors down here. We're gonna go to our base. That's lighting. Now I'm starting to imagine like Studio Ghibli style, like this cauldron can move around. Clumping around after somebody. Like if I was an alchemist artificer, I would want to have an animated cauldron following me around. That just kind of makes sense. I legit like that idea. Yeah, let's do this. I like my music. Ooh, yeah. Base in place. Drop into heat. I'm okay with the feet not being hot. I do think I want to have... Hold on. There we go. Rogue bit. Down here. So, exactly. Yeah, I think I mean there's technically a 3rd foot, but perspective wouldn't allow you to see it, so it looks like 2 feet. But I am perfectly content with this. I think it has an almost Disney-esque charm to it at this point, and I'm pretty fucking happy with that. Very Ghibli. Just kind of rounding it out down here because it just feels like the right thing to do. Not bad. Not bad. Spy with my eye something that is text. Where the foot was needs a bit more color. It still has gray visible in the central lump. Oh, down in here? Thank you. Oh, that's very gray. Let's grab a sharper red. There we go. That should probably feel better. Thanks for the shout out, man. I appreciate that. Well, it's appreciated. Very actually so. All right, I think I'm good with this. This is at the point where I would sensibly merge the line art down and blend it all together so that it doesn't become like colored line art like here for the banner that I worked on off screen the other day. See, I merged the line art in and blended it in so that it loses its hard definition line separation from color, but the form still retains in place. So like this is ultimately, this is about where I want each of the pieces to end up at as far as like quality. So Yeah. We're going to. I'm going to blend it all. I'm going to merge it all in, and then I'll be able to, like, you know, as its own layer over the top of it. So I'll be able to have like something coming up out of it or whatever. Tentacles, probably. It's always tentacles, isn't it? It's always tentacles. No, I have no idea. But yeah, we'll probably blend it in, and we'll figure out what that is, and we'll put some cast shadow underneath here just to help define its shape a little bit. So it's not so like this can be free floating, this can be free floating, these can be free floating. Like this one's bound to the ground, so I've got like this a bit of ground grit going. I probably want to do some lighting effects here at the anvil so it's on the ground. This this parasol, I'm probably going to want to have some ground effects so I can show like the projection of light coming through the stained glass. I think if I had like a cast shadow here set up for the parasol, that might be a really good idea. This won't have any cast shadow because it's on fire, and this one literally casts shadow. It's a shadow lantern, so all it does is cast shadows. So oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. I gotta bounce. All right, guys, I am out of here. This is fun. We're gonna leave him sit here for now and come back and visit that with the rest of the pieces when we get to that point. So tomorrow we're going to work on the stained glass parasol. And then so that'll be Friday. It'll probably take Friday, so that probably means that Monday and Tuesday we'll have these done. And so probably by Wednesday next week we'll be merging line art in and doing detail work for each of these in another pass. So probably like another week or so we'll be completely done with this page, unless I decide to work on some in the evening. But honestly, in the evening I'm working on maps and other parts of the pages. So I like that though. I'm pretty happy with that piece. This is all turning out really fucking good. I'm really happy with this whole set. So that's it for now. I'm gonna be back. It's 8 o'clock now. I'm gonna be back in 9.5 hours, around 5:30 ish, to work on the Bastion campaign book a little bit more tonight, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue working on this. Saturday morning is Martial Powers playtesting on my Discord channel. I take off Sunday. And we'll be back Monday morning and continue on with this. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. I really appreciate you guys. It really is assisting. And femurs. All right. I'm out of here, guys. I will see you on the other side. Thanks so much.